Oh, hi there. How are you? It's Maini Homer here. It's really, really nice to see you this evening. Let's see who is around on this amazing Friday night to come and play. We'll just wait a moment and see who comes on. I hope you've had a fantastic day today. I certainly have. I've done some amazing work with some clients and made a massive difference for them, so that's always good. And here's Mark. Hello, Mark. How are you? How about some loves and some likes so that I know that you are around and you're listening? Let's see who else comes on. It's been a bit of a quiet week this week because a lot of my people are doing courses in Sydney, so been a little bit quieter than normal. However, that's okay because they usually catch up on them later and they usually send me lots and lots of messages. That's all good. So just wait a couple more seconds and see if anybody else comes on, and then we will get started. So, okay, let's get started. A few more people coming on now. So, here's Nathan. Hello, Nathan. How are you tonight? Good to see you. Oh, yes, I got your message. I'll answer you shortly. Okay. All right. Cool. Okay, let's get started because it's already ticking on. So, okay, so tonight's subject actually comes from one of the pop songs that are out at the moment. I'm Just Too Good for Goodbyes. My son's been playing it a fair bit. And it kind of struck a chord with me this morning, it did, because I used to do this. I used to do exactly this. I used to, in a previous life, say goodbye to people before they had a chance to say goodbye to me. Now, this is something that I wasn't even actually aware that I was doing. I was doing it subconsciously. Obviously, I was taking action outside consciously, but I wasn't aware of what was going on inside me. And my first realization that I was doing this was a few years ago. And it's a bit of a sad story, but it has a happy ending, so I'm sure you won't mind. Now, when I was 15 years old, many years ago, Marnie, that's 30 years ago, honey. Okay, I'll explain that in a minute. Okay, so when I was 15 years old, I got a job, my very first full-time job at Big W in Brisbane. And I was working in the Manchester section. And I was young and I was impressionable. And let's just be honest, I had no self-confidence and no self-esteem back then because I didn't know how to stand up for myself or do anything like that. So anyway, I was working at this place called Big W. And I met this amazing lady called Maini. Yep, same name as me. Yep. And she was the same age as me. No, she was 1 year older than me. And we got on like an absolute house on fire. We absolutely connected. We were inseparable. And this was a summer job I had, so I worked over there the entire summer. It was always my plan to go back to school, even though I hadn't let that on at the time. And so, I mean, I spent most of my weekends at Marnie's house. She was closer to where we worked, so that was one reason, but it's because that's where I wanted to be. And so I spent like most of my weekends at Marnie's. Like, we did lunch every day. We hung out before work, after work, and we were absolutely inseparable, the two of us, absolutely. And then I went back to school, and Marnie stayed working at Big W, and I did my normal trick, which is I decided that, okay, so, well, we'd had like, 3 months of solid friendship. And I decided that, okay, well, subconsciously I decided, okay, well, now it's probably time to sort of like back away because pretty soon she'll be getting sick of me. And so I did that. Without even realizing I was doing it. I did that. And I didn't call and I didn't respond to messages, and the friendship slowly died. And about 6 months later, I called up to ask to speak to her to find out that she'd actually moved back to England. And she was gone. And back then there was no Facebook and there was no internet, so the reality of actually ever seeing Marnie again was probably pretty null and void, never going to happen. And I mean, all because my subconscious was telling me things such as limiting beliefs I had, as the fact that, I could make friends, but I just couldn't keep them. And the only friends I could make were ones that lived far enough away from me that they didn't have to see me very often, and they were my limiting beliefs. And so anyway, I grieved over a friendship lost because it was just such a phenomenal relationship. And the years went on, and never heard from her again, ever. And then about 9 years ago, I just happened to be doing a search, mucking around on Facebook, you know, as you do, and I came across her name. And it was an unusual name, so it could have only been one person, and the picture was no help because it was just simply an ankle, of all things, with a butterfly on it. But I knew instantly, I knew that was my Maini. I knew it was. And I reached out, I sent a message, friended her, and just sent the message. I said, this has got to be my Maini. And she came back, she goes, yes, my baby, it's me. So it was something like 22 years later, and I found my Maini. And I have been so blessed since then to actually see her 3 times. She still lives in England. Her mother still lives in Australia. And I have been absolutely blessed to have time with her and to see her again 3 times in the last 4 years when she came to visit her mum. And you know what? It was like not a moment had passed, not a moment had disappeared. But what's really sad is that she thought she'd done something wrong. She thought it was her fault that the friendship had ended. She thought that she was too wild for me. And when she told me that, that broke my heart, because it wasn't her fault. It wasn't her doing it all. It was my doing. And it was my limiting beliefs that destroyed that friendship and destroyed that relationship. And I mean, that's just really sucky, isn't it? I am so grateful that I found her and that I was able to put that right for her, because I know that it affected her as well. She honestly believed that for all those years, that she had done something wrong or that she wasn't good enough for me. And I was so glad that I was able to put that right for her. And I am so blessed to have her in my life again. And we talk often, we talk all the time, and we're just as close as we ever were. And I'm really excited to say that she has promised me that when she comes to Australia next year, Marina, I hope you don't mind, but she's coming to visit me in Auckland. I get money for a couple of days this time, so it's like, yeah. So, and I just want to share that story with you, because this week I had a client who I was working with, and we were talking about relationships, and we got down to fear of rejection, which obviously was what mine was about. And you know what she said to me? She says, oh golly, she says, I don't even let it get that far. I don't even let it get to the point where they could reject me. And it's like, wow, there's people out there just like me, or just like I was. So my question to you is, are you too good at goodbyes? Are you too quick to say goodbye to people? Are you too quick to cut people out of your life? Are you too quick to think that they won't hang around and that they don't want to know you, or they don't like you, or anything like that? And are you too quick to let go of relationships? It's happening all around the world. How many people do you know just give up on marriages these days? They get married, they're in love, and a few years later it's not quite like it was, and so instead of trying to work it out, they decide that, you know, we'll just split up. And you know what? There's kids involved and all kinds of things, but, you know, they just still quit. They absolutely quit. So how often is that happening these days? It's just, it's rank. It really is. And so my question to you is, are you too good at goodbyes? Are you too quick to say goodbye to people that are important to you because of your own limiting beliefs? Ask yourself these questions. Ask yourself if you're doing this. And if you are, and you need help, reach out and ask for help so that you can get these limiting beliefs cleared and you can keep these relationships rather than losing them. Because quite frankly, guys, life is too short, and quite frankly, 22 years without my Maini was just sucky. So don't do it, guys. Don't do what I did. Don't be silly enough not to, you know, cherish everything that you have and to love every relationship for its face value and for what it is. And ask yourself if you are really putting in the effort that relationships take, because it is a two-way street. It does take work. It's not something that's easy sometimes, and you do have to work at it. So anyway, I just wanted to have a talk to you about this and just ask you that question. And I hope that you're not. I hope that you are surrounded by people that love you and that you keep them in your life for as long as you possibly can, because finding love these days and finding true friends is not always easy. So if you've got true friends, cherish them and hang on to them for dear life, okay? And they will help you go to the top, okay? Thank you for listening. 10 minutes, there we go, one of my records. So have a great Friday night, and I will see you again soon. See you later. Bye-bye.